You're such an asshole.
So I guess we're going to live up to Asshole Consulting's reputation. And I actually, when it comes time to it, it's like, oh God, I do have to. And this guy's a nice guy. There's no, I mean nothing bad to the guy. Anonymous guy writes, Cappy, I'm a youngish 30 something STEM guy in a leftist crap hole. You make a fair amount of money, but that's kind of average for the leftist crap hole you're living in. Have no debt, 6 feet tall, live on my own, physically active and go rock climbing 3 days a week. As I'm getting older, it's becoming harder to meet people. So I figure I'd give online dating a try. I made a Hinge profile 3 days ago. Now I got, which one is Hinge? Hinge. Hinge is an online dating using an algorithm. Potential matches allows user to discuss attempt match with a specific piece of content in the profile. Is Hinge a dating or a hookup site? Is a dating app that matches you with people you're connected to through friends on social media. Okay, so it's not it's not Grinder or anything like that. It's not Bumble, although I guess out of all of them, I'd be using Bumble because it takes one entire chore away from you, and that is selection. Like you upload and the girls do all the work, and that's it. Since then, I have not received a single match, and 95% of the profiles that are shown to me are obese women. My question is, what am I doing wrong? Am I really that unattractive and don't know it? Be honest. Is it just bad luck? I consider myself to be average looking, but people are never good at gauging their own attractiveness. All right. So first thing you could do scientifically, put your face up. I don't know if hot or not is still a thing, but rate my face or something like that. There you can put your face up if I'm, but it's a little bit of everything. But I'll be honest with you, you're ugly. You're not an attractive man. Your nose is huge. You're balding. And you, how can I put it? You are adjacent. Your ethnic group is not the most popular. Not the one that he's not East Indian, but it's you're not on the top of the list. None of these things are your fault. This is how you were born. And you're not out of shape. You're definitely not out of that. You've given me your looks, and I'm going to go through your profile and everything. We're going to look at all the other stuff. But yeah, man, you do not have a pretty face. You don't. Now, that's not the end of the world because there are several things you can do to increase that. One, I would seriously look again at a nose job. Now, you don't have to. All right. Matter of fact, maybe you could have that be the last thing. But yeah, that's a big schnoz you got. All right. The balding, that's simple shave. Like just own it and then grow, look at Rich Cooper. I'm not saying you gotta have the Hulkamaniac. Well, Hulk Hogan didn't really have it. You don't need the big ass Viking beard, but a good 5 o'clock shadow with trim and all that. That'd be that. You do rock climbing, but you still got a little baby face. I'm not gonna call it skinny fat because I don't think that's it. I think it's just you got a young look, and it's just been my experience because if I'm not on a diet, I get the baby face too. But I'd even call it skinny fat, and so you just have to like diet and do no carbs and get like a sunken cheek and all that. Good news is you're over 6 feet tall. Everything else, like literally about the only thing wrong is your face. Like you got the job, you got the career, you got the height. um I'm gonna go through your picture. I think you bulk up a little bit more, but at what point in time, you got a life too, and how much of your life do you want to dedicate towards getting girls? But I would not be putting a lot of investment into it until we get the face fixed. So you got to sink in, lose the baby fat, grow a 5 o'clock shadow. I think you could do that now, and that kind of masks the baby fat. That's why those millennial soy boys always get, the groomer beard guys. If you just had a good 5 o'clock shadow, cover it up a little bit. I just go bald, see what it looks like. Just try it. You see, he still got hair on his head, but it's just like, yeah, that's the Germans in late 45 or mid 45, just throwing the towel, and then see how that goes. As I'm getting older, it's hard to meet people. That's not your fault either. That is 100% a function of your age. After college, it just People get married, people go careers, people get joined the military, people go overseas, whatever. So again, don't think that's you. And what am I doing wrong? We'll go through your profile, but you're not doing anything wrong. You're not. This is please benefit from generations of men before you who had to go through this analog before the dating app, before there's stupid things like asshole consulting. It's not you. There's nothing you are doing wrong. If you want, please go read the book of Numbers, Analyzing the ROI in the Pursuit of Women. Please go read the book Why Women Deserve Less, not because we agree that women deserve less, but the data and the statistics are there to show you just how little interest women have in men in the United States, and how super picky they have become because they no longer need men. I helped Myron write that book. I edited it, helped him with the data and the statistics. Please read that. And then you'd be like, oh, this is the soccer field I'm playing on. This is the this is the field I'm playing on. Now I don't know if you're a foreigner or if you're just happen to be of ethnic variety and you were born in the United States. But if you are a foreigner, yeah, man, the girls don't need guys anymore. They just don't. And what you're finding, I'm being very succinct. I'm giving you the very Cliff Notes version of those two books. Since women don't need men anymore, what you're finding out is women's true interest in men, and women are only interested in the absolute top tier men. And if you look at what I would also recommend you do because of your STEM background, you're mathematically inclined, I would go and do an image search of Tinder Analytics. And there's the numbers. Now, admittedly, it's online dating, and online dating to an increasing lesser extent, but to a certain extent, is kind of where the rejects go. But that is becoming less of a true statement as time has gone on. But if you look at Tinder Analytics, the images, you'll see mathematically how little interest women have in men. And that is not your fault. I would argue genetically, they've never had that much interest in men. And today, based on the numbers, the best numbers we have, women are only interested in about 4.5% of the men out there on dating profiles. I think they only swipe right on 4.5% of the dating profiles. So in terms of the whole package, like if a woman was looking for a stable, reliable, intelligent man who could provide for a family, has interesting background, yeah, you match all that. But your face, that, but you were born with that. That's something you can work on later, but don't worry about that. That's more or less out of your control. But keep in mind, there's a whole other side to this formula and equation, and that is the girls. And that's what a lot of the research and the data and the book I wrote, the book that Myron wrote, you're going to see it there. Girls are just not that interested in guys, and they're only going to be going after a top 1 in 20. Generally speaking, if they're a little bit uglier, they're 6, they'll go for an 8. So it's not you, it's them. But that being said, you like to get girls, maybe you'd like to raise a family, so you need to critically and accurately assess the situation, both where you're, I don't even want to call them failings, where you're weak, where you need to improve, and then also how receptive are women in this country to dating, marriage, having a family, etc. And so that part, the female half of this formula, has already been very well documented and measured. Again, read those books if you'd like. That is the main reason right there. However, if you want to have a shot, yeah, we gotta work on some things, namely your face. So the long way of I'm trying to say is, don't feel bad. You've put in all the effort you really could. There's not much more you could do. Yes, there's always room for improvement, but the worst thing that can happen to you, as it happened to people in my generation who were younger, we tried in vain to figure out everything that was wrong with us. Like, okay, what did I do? Did I step with the wrong foot? Was I too aggressive? Was I not aggressive enough? Did I call it too early? Did I call it too late? No, girls just don't like you that much. That's it. There you go. There you go. There's your answer. It doesn't matter if you called it the third day or the second day. However, there's guys from the analog days that remember, like, "Oh, do I leave her a message? Do I not leave? Did I have caller ID? Oh, yeah, all this other bullshit." No, no. Save yourself the struggle and the agony and correctly diagnose this problem. It's not you, it's them. All right. So, like, 90% them, 10% you, but we still need your 10% to make it work. Am I really that unattractive and don't know it? Yeah, you're pretty ugly. Is it just bad luck? It's bad luck in terms of the timing and where you live. Yeah, I mean, you're also let's also talk about the municipality you live in. That ain't the greatest place to find girl. I think the only place that would be worse would be like Portland or Seattle. About the only place worse. I consider myself to be average looking. I will agree with you on that because you are in shape. So whereas your face is one thing, I want you thinking like, "Oh, I'm hideous." No, no, that's too far because you are in shape and 70% of men are fat, right? So the fact you are in shape, all right, and you're doing the work, right? You are going and working out like, well, rock climbing anyway. It's just cosmetic. So you're I would say in the grand scheme, and let's talk about Gaussian versus linear. Um, when we talk about 1 through 10, most people think Gaussian, a Bell distribution, and like a 10 isn't the top 10% of people. Like you think of a woman who's a 10, that's like 1/10 of 1% of a woman, of the population of women out there. I let's talk linear because that's more mathematically accurate. um, you're like a well, if you're not fat, you're in the top 30%, but the face isn't helping. So I'm gonna say you're right at a 7, a linear 7. Here's the problem, also documented in these books and many times over the internet. Women don't find 80% of men attractive. I mean, you got to be a 2 or higher. We could argue, well, that's a linear. I'm sorry, you got to be an 8 or you got to be no, you got to be a 9 or a 10. You have to be a 9 or a 10. 8 and below, 80% linear, women don't find attractive. All right. So you're right on the cusp. You're right there. I'd also strongly recommend because let's say you go through this work and I'm not saying you get plastic surgery, but you get the chiseled jaw, hair, and all that. You might want to watch the video why you don't want to be an 8 or a 10 or 7 or an 8. Why men don't want to be a 7 or an 8. But you're right there. You're not enough to get women to be excited about you. Especially online because they're only going after the top 1 in 20. And even then, when you look at girls, that's just them swiping. They swipe 4.5% of the time, right? Then you find out just what a fraction of the men they actually end up going on a date with. Like they text only half the guys that they swipe right on. Then they only follow up with the second text like half that time. And then like the dates that end up going out is like 8% of that. We are talking, I think I saw one, it was something like 10 dates out of 16,000 swipes. So just so you know. I consider myself to be average looking, but people are never good at gauging their own attractiveness. I think you are correct because we're used to Gaussian. But if you look at the vast majority of men, you are better. You're definitely better than average looking because you're in physical shape. Again, I can send you screenshots of my profile. Let me know why I'm having bad luck and how I can improve. Also, if old is out of the question, if old is out of the question, what do you suggest I do? What's old? All right, so let's go through the profiles here. Yep. Shave the head, shave it, mustache, beard. Just try it. Also, another thing, you look like the stereotypical nerd. You look like the IT STEM nerd. You do, but it's because you are. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you look like that. Girls don't want that. They want a douchebag. They want the sales bro who's embezzling funds from the brokerage he works for. How dare you be a productive member of society? I don't want to read. No, your lead statement, my most controversial opinion is no, get rid of that. Get no. I don't know if you can. That's way too lame and sensitive. I'm gonna give you a free one. You could plagiarize this idea. If I were to ever go back to dating and I had to go online dating, I always thought I'd have this thing called the theme would be fun guy trademark. And the whole idea is like, hey, are you bored of going on with boring guys and da da da? Try fun guy. Fun guy has absolutely no expectation and is not going to commit and is not serious about anything. With fun guy, you could go bowling and hiking and fishing and da da da. And then the legal is do not take fun guy to meet your mom. Fun guy is incapable of marriage. Fun guy only does fun things. Do not become serious with fun guy. And that it's fun, it's playful, but it kind of states very clearly you're not the committing type. So they feel safe. You're not going to be a stalker. But then it's fun, it's lighthearted. And so I always thought that was a good shtick to go with. I could be wrong, but this is way too lame. I don't want to read it because I don't want to identify you. Boop-a-doop-a-doo, boop-a-doop-a-doo. What you're looking for, you are not looking for a long-term relationship. I would add fun. Long-term, if you can select multiple long-term, fun, short-term, I don't know what it is. Stick with the monogamy and all that. All right. Okay, there you are hiking with your buddy. Okay, that's good. You got a picture with the dog. See if you get a picture with the little nephew or a niece, little kid. Okay, let's look at your pipes. Yeah, no, you're in pretty good shape. You got God, it is baby face. It's not skinny face. If you can bulk up somehow, I know the gym sucks. I know. I got it, man. But you're a svelte, thin rock climber, and girls want the muscles. They just do. This year I really want to. Yeah, it's not bad. This year I really want to pick up salsa dancing. I don't know. I wish I could read these for the benefit of the audience, but again, I don't want to identify. That one's all right. You avoided running. I don't know if you need to slim down anymore though. Yeah. I guess maybe your nose isn't too big. Hang on, let me go back to your original picture. Oh, you know what? I think you're just too close to the camera on this. On the first one you sent me, maybe you're a little too close to the camera. Yeah, on these other okay, no, that looks a little more normal. It's still a little big, but no, I wouldn't, maybe not look at surgery. Yeah, if okay, you're at it's still a sizable nose, but it isn't as bad as I thought. Oh, here, I'll tell you this, if the first picture you sent me is the one that you got on the internet, take that off. No, 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 no. Yeah, that's what that was. I was like, "Man, this guy's got a huge nose," but it's just because 'cause you're close to the camera in this. Alright. Yeah. Yeah, he's still not that good looking. Just be honest. Yeah, here you don't look too bad, though. Yeah, you are tall too. Yeah. Um, I'm just going through that. So, alright. So let's go through it, and we'll just go through the brass tacks. Um Your looks, I would not necessarily be looking at plastic surgery, but maybe go talk to a consultation and see if they can show you what you would look like. I'm not a plastic surgeon. I don't know how to make people look pretty. I just look at you. I'm like, yeah, you don't look like Hugh Jackman, but neither do I. All right, so maybe consider what they might have in mind. I would also go with the facial, and you got right here. You got a 5 o'clock shadow, so you could grow a really good, full, nice groom beard. And I just shave the head, see what it looks like, just to try it. Don't worry, the hair will grow back. If it's like, oh, whoa, this looks horrible, and then okay, fine, then go back to the hair. Otherwise, for your hairline, that is a good haircut that you got, so that's okay. If there's any way you can bulk up, I know you want to get into cardio. If you could take supplements, get more muscles. That's always going to help. I don't think you need to slim down. You're already pretty svelte. You need to bulk up a little bit. I do like the picture of the dog. And another book you might want to read, maybe it's just the last chapter, second to last chapter, go get The Unplugged Alpha by Rich Cooper. He talks about how to set up a good dating profile. This isn't bad. This is by no means the worst I've seen. Green flags I look for. These are so lame. What? See, I can't critique you. You gotta be masculine. And this much I do know. A little bit of dangerous. Green flags I look for. I can't say it. I can't say it because I don't want to identify you. Okay, green flags you look for. This is what a Boy Scout would say. You gotta be more dangerous. Look, I know you're engineering or IT or whatever. All right. You're good men. And it's logical. It makes sense. And also, I would say the culture you are from is more traditional. And therefore, you guys aren't a bunch of douchebags, which inevitably you have to become a douchebag in this country. But you got to be a little bit dangerous. Green flags I look for. A girl who is willing to ride a motorcycle without a helmet. Some a little danger. Green flags I look for. A girl, I'm trying to think. A girl who knows her whiskey. Okay? A girl who drinks scotch. A girl who knows her scotch. All right, now you can use these. Go ahead, plagiarize them. You've paid for this. But that's a green flag. She goes to church. She didn't say go to church. She goes to church and she puts books away. Like, that's boring. Do you have a vice? Like, maybe, okay. Do you have a vice? Maybe use the vice like a girl who likes this vice, whatever it is. If it could be drinking, motorcycle riding, I'm sure you didn't tell me what your worst traits are, but do you have a vice? A girl who green flags I look for. A girl likes Dungeons and Dragons. Use that to find another girl who likes the same geekery or vice that you do, and then boom, that's going to be. Use that question. Girl plays D&D. A girl who knows her scotch. A girl who. Maybe you're rock climbing. That'd be, a girl who's addicted to rock climbing. A girl who's addicted to the outdoors. This year, I really want to. It's not the worst. Is there something exciting you'd like to do aside from cardio? Do you want to go hang gliding? Do you want to learn to ride a motorcycle? Do you want to, I don't know, something? It's not the worst. You're going to find gals that are like interested in running and jogging. Most controversial opinion is no, you have got to get rid of that one. My most controversial opinion is here. If your goal is to get married, I want a traditional wife and to have some kids. I want a wife who stays at home and raises the kids while I support her. I mean, that's controversial, and that will cut if that's what you want long term. Says you're looking for long-term relationship. So if that, and only if that is actually true. Here, I know, look, you're having no success with this online dating stuff anyway. Be bluntly honest. My most controversial opinion is I want to have a stay-at-home wife. I want to have a wife that stays home and raises the kids while I go out and make the money. There you go. And you're going to catch a ton of flack, but you know what? The girl's like, oh my God, this is the guy who might, want to support me. Now, of course, it's going to open you up to, unfortunately, divorce and gold diggers and all that. But it'll cut through the chase. It's certainly controversial and stand out. That's not going to stand out. Girl goes and reads that and says, oh, did you find anyone interesting? Oh, yeah, there was a guy, like his most controversial opinion was this really lame controversial opinion. It wasn't controversial at all. So I don't know what the other dating apps look like, but this one, my most controversial opinion is I just tell girls what you want. That'll be controversial. want a beautiful wife to stay home and raise the kids while I go out and make the money. And here's the thing, it's even better that they hate you than they don't remember you because I can't believe this pig. Oh my God, it's 2023. Blah, blah, blah. They'll talk about it. And then like they might actually think about it, be surprised. I'm to give you an example. One time I worked security and at my home desk, I always had a pistol on my desk. And a girl I was dating came in, is that a gun? Yes. Why do you have that? I told you I work security. So I go in the other room. No, I don't know why you have to have a gun. I'm a typical American girl and don't understand the Second Amendment or history or tyranny. I know everything. You should get rid of guns and be neutered. Oh my God. Zelensky's so hot. Those Ukrainian men fighting for their country. Fucking Christ. What are they fighting for the country with? Sticks? Anyway, so like literally no more than 10 seconds of silence. She's like, well, can I look at it? And I'm like, oh shit. Okay. So I go into the room, I take the one out of the chamber, I put it on safety, take the thing. I'm like, here, you can play with this dead piece of metal. All of a sudden, like another 30 seconds, this is kind of cool. They don't know what they want. Now they know what they want physically. All right. That's not you. But when it comes to relationships, they don't know what they want. And so these girls who would initially claim, oh, I can't believe that sexist pig wants me to stay at home and raise his children. And then she'll think and stew about it. Well, he would take care of me. Maybe. But this right here is not memorable. Dooby-dooby-doo. Okay, so there's a picture of you and your buddy. They know which one is you, but but your buddy is right up close and center. I like how you're hanging out with your buddies, but maybe circle yourself just to make it clear. Your fashion is kind of meh. I'm not a big guy on fashion. I'm really not. You got to dress for work or working out as you're obviously doing here in several of these pictures. But I don't know, just whose fashion you should emulate? Like if you got no other template to go by, go look at Troy Francis. Look at him. And I think you're tall, you're not overweight, you're in pretty good shape. You should wear some clothes that kind of fit. I was never a big believer in it, and I started wearing clothes that fit. And yeah, I could see it. You look better. You do. And again, you don't need to buy $8,000 shirts, but get a shirt that fits, get some good fashion. I mean, and by good fashion, I mean, go to Goodwill and find yourself a nice shirt, nice pair of pants that goes with it. You don't have to spend a lot of money. But yeah, you look like someone who's in grad school. You look like a nerd in grad. Like you went to Nerds R Us for the fashion. And like, yep, that's what bland t-shirt, bland pants. Mm-hmm. Don't overdo it the other way. All right. These are okay pictures. I don't know how many pictures you can upload. You should throw pictures up there with you and your buddies. That looks good. There's a picture with you and a girl. That's great. There's a picture of you out. I had a picture with you and the dog. There should be at least one picture of you looking not overposed, but you dressed up nice. Maybe you got it like, hey guys, can you help me take a picture so it looks like this is a natural environment? Like you got this picture with your two buddies here and you guys are dressed casual. That's fine. Get these same two guys like, hey, I need you to dress up so I can get dressed up so it looks like, I need a dress up picture. These look like your friends. Looks like they'd help you out. Yeah, so that's what I recommend you do. Go talk to the what's it called? Plastic surgeon. See what he or she would recommend. Go with a reputable one. Don't chintz on. And right now, this is just the exploratory phase. See if they could get a picture of you and give you an idea, a digital rendition of what you might look like. I would shave the head. I would grow out the beard a little. Don't do one of these Taliban beards. Don't go the other far direction. A good trim, half an inch beard. Not a Rich Cooper beard. If you turn too much, you clothesline the person next to you. A good, full, yet trimmed to maintain beard. I'm wondering what you look like with glasses. Maybe glasses would accentuate your face well. If you gain a couple more pounds of muscle, yeah. Lose the baby face on a if you go on a pretty strict diet just to lose the fat, you get more definition in your face. Change a couple of those items, like the green flags you look for and other such things. Um, and that's pretty much all you can do on you. And keep in mind, we're talking some pretty extreme things if we're talking plastic surgery. I'm just and the reason I'm highlighting this, it's like, look, you can touch it up here, you can touch it a little hair and some shirts. And then the only thing we could think up, like after serious contemplation and thought, maybe some plastic surgery. But let me ask you this. What more could you possibly do? Right? And that's where we go back to this 90% and revisit. Never forget that there's another half of this formula, and that is women. All right. I would say in today's world, you should ask girls out in person because online dating is a complete pissing away of time. Yet it is instructional. You can learn from it because you're not your experiences online are not unique. That is universally every man's experience online, unless you are one of these really good looking model-esque men, which you and most men are not. Even the good looking ones that try. And so what I don't want you to do is think like, oh, if I trim down a little bit and gain bulk up on some muscle, and then I get a smaller nose and I wear some really cool, fashionable Tony Stark type of glasses, and then I wear a nice shirt. Now I'm gonna get the no, because you're not the problem. Generally speaking, you're just not the problem. You got some tweaks and adjustments, slight improvements you can make. All right. It is the fact that most girls today do not want most men. And once you realize that, you're not going to, I can't imagine with your educational background, professional background, probably very high IQ, intelligent. I can't imagine how mentally frustrating this has to be. Where you're like, I don't know what else to do, thinking you're missing some kind of piece of the formula. You're not. You're really not. And so so you don't drive yourself insane, understand. And if you don't believe that, people think I'm just being pessimistic. That's what I get a kick out of. Like, well, you just hate women. I don't know how people extract that. But please go look at these numbers. Go look at the data and the statistics and remove any of your emotional or psychological or sexual desire for women, but just look at their behavior through the numbers. Say, would these numbers reflect a group of people A interested in a group of people B? Not male, female, none of that. Go look at group A on all the statistics associated with how much interest they show in group B, and you just conclude, yeah, group A really don't like group B that much. My God, sometimes I think they outright hate them. And when you look at it more through a clinical lens, like you're doing a National Geographic study of the wildebeest, be like, oh yeah, that group of wildebeest over there, I don't like that group of wildebeest over there. You would, oh, I see, and it becomes just so much more apparent. And so, for your sake, for your sanity's sake, but also I'd say for not wasting your time, and which I give this advice to every man in America who is either an immigrant or is descendant from immigrants, first generation, who still have some ties back to the home country. I would strongly recommend you go back to the home country and find someone. It's not even culturally similar to you, although there is that's obviously a huge advantage. But usually, and particularly the country you are from, ethnically or directly, they're more traditional there. The women are more receptive to long-term dating, relationships, et cetera, et cetera. And I could understand if there's reasons. I've had other guys from different countries like, I can't go back. I know I'm too Americanized. I'm too whitewashed or whatever. Okay, fine. But I would certainly evaluate that option because your goals are long-term. It's not to say there aren't good quality women in America. It's just your statistical chances of finding them are that low. and you're going to be better off statistic wise. Again, no guarantee. It's not you go to the home country, all these girls are lined up like, oh, marry me, and here's your favorite food. But I would ask some of your family, say, hey, do we know anyone? Because just so you know, it doesn't get any better. Your experiences on dating, that is the standard American male experience. And so I don't know if you want to continue wasting your time, but I wouldn't. So I would tweak your profile, put up some okay dating profile pictures, dress a little bit nicer and all that. But then I'd leave it. I'd visit once every 2 weeks, once a week, see if you got any girls. I would probably just go with Bumble, honestly, because the girls got to reach out to you. But I would kind of hold off on that until you get some better pictures. Change your answers to be more masculine and more interesting and not dishonest, but just not so boring. And then, yeah, man. And then just get used to it. Just get used to it. And I would start looking outside the United States. I would certainly start looking outside that city and state you live in, and I'd reel in your expectations with reality. But that's I don't know. See, you got more friends than I do. Those with a lot of people, But that's what I'm saying. Don't bang your head against it anymore. Those are the only things under your wheelhouse that you could change. That's it. The rest of it is a lack of demand on the part of women. All right, let's go through the super chats if we have any, and we got four generous super chats. Hank Stamper, I think is a new guy, $2. Sex dolls don't judge you, only say, yeah, and I understand the argument. Look, I listen to Turd Flinging Monkey all the time. I totally understand using that as a substitute good or a supplement or a replacement, but it's not the same. It just isn't the same. And I know the argument of, well, it releases the same neurochemicals, and I'm not even calling TFM a hypocrite at all. He is authentically and legitimately using, and he'll tell you he's not ashamed about it. I just think that's only going to be appealing to a very small percentage of men, especially if this guy wants to have a family. Fish in for fun, 33, $5. Cappy, I turned my useless econ degree into an accounting career by taking your advice. There you go. Back to school online for accounting while working. Thanks. Good. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear that you're making money, or it seems like you're making money already. Tune into the Elkins Accounting Hour because he talks about like even skipping college. He has a bunch of enrolled agents that he talks to. One he has on the channel regularly. You may not even, get a couple accounting courses in, but if you want to go straight for the EA test, I don't know. You don't even have to. But yeah, you should probably go to school online. Just take a class or two and never get your accounting degree. Bebe Leduc. Is that right? Ilduc? I don't know French. $1.50 Canadian super sticker. I don't see what it is, but I think the audience can. So I don't know what that is. And Reen Schwartzer, $5. Got my female cousin worthless. She went to college for dance. Did she know she can learn dance for free on the internet or just going to clubs? Did she know that? But Reen, is she gonna listen, man? That's the thing. The guy or the gal that can get other people to listen and heed intelligent advice, the people who unlock that formula, there's a $1 billion book deal waiting for you. Stan the Milkman, $5 Australian. What do you call a tall fat guy? A fat guy. I'm 6'2" and lost close to 40 kilograms, which is 84 pounds? 88 pounds. 2.2 pounds per kilogram. 2.2. 88. That is awesome. Now I get the girls a shifted location on Bumble to Singapore, 200 a day. Wow, really? Are you near Singapore? Or are you in Australia and you could fly to Singapore? Is that what you do? Man, you Australians got it pretty easy. You got Indonesia, Thailand, all within a day's flight. But congrats! I didn't know you lost that much weight there, Stan. Good for you. Imagine that, just like the video I did before about the girl who lost the weight and then just magically out of the blue, she found a guy. Guy started asking her out. It's a Christmas miracle. Channel 1800. Oh, that's right. That's right. We got all you Kiwis and Australians because it's your time. 10 New Zealand dollars. Just saying hi, Cappy. Dirty Dozen movie night at Terrence Pops on the weekend was going to be Kelly's Heroes. If Chad Elkins' first name is Chad, would that make him Super Vlad? How dare you? I stopped in on Joker's movie thing on Locals. I did that twice. That's kind of fun. You say hi to the guys and pick on Joker. I should swing in on Pops, poke fun at him. Chad Elkins it's implied he is a super Chad. It's just implied. Ken Rose, $2. He just says hi. Oh, Mike, Jesus. Holy Christ, Mike. Well, thank you very much for the 100 boomer bucks. Well, you didn't have to, Mike, but thank you. Mike hanging out in New England or Nebraska. Maybe see if the lead throwers still work. Pumpkin plant. Oh, corn is up. Okay, you are in New England. Gotta cut some millwood maybe next weekend. 30 round mag dumps. Always put a smile on my face. Are you in the pumpkin chunkin? Are you? That's in Nebraska, right? Are you part of that? Well, thank you very much for the $100. I mean, for $100, you could get a request or something. I mean, you could send me, at Asshole Consulting. But thank you very, very kind for the $100, which I did the math. I need 5.25 yards of gravel at $50 a yard. So that's, let's call it 300 with tax. Then I got to go rent a dump trailer, and that's $130. So that's $430 total. And I'm going to have to bribe my buddy who's going to help me do this. So where we at? We're at, let's just call it 450. And all the super chat donations that had come in the past couple days, yeah, it's going to gravel and a dump trailer. I think you've put me over the edge. I think kindly to my listening audience, especially you, Mike, you guys all paid for some gravel and a dump trailer. Like, what are you using it for? To keep drainage, to keep a dry basement. This is the sexy stuff I spend my money on. I guarantee you, out of all the people out there in the world, except for who's the guy that's always not Matt Walsh, who's the guy that always wears the cap because he's bald? I have got to spend my money on the most boring, mundane, practical crap. I'm not buying cars. I'm not buying Ferraris. I'm not buying Hues. I'm not buying fancy clothes. I'm not getting a Rolex. Like, I got some gravel, but I will have a dry basement. My foundation will not crack under the freeze melt pressures of spring as the snow melts and freezes, melts and freezes, melts and freezes. There'll be no water for a good 8 feet away from my house. It's again, thank you, Mike. Lord Freezer, $4. Cappy, what are your thoughts on moving to Indiana? I was never impressed with Indiana. I didn't hate Indiana either. I think you're starting that Ohio Valley. There's several states that have local income tax, so you might want to double check based on the county you're in. There's nothing wrong and there's nothing right with Indiana. It's not as cold as Michigan or Illinois or the upper Midwest, but it's not as warm as Tennessee or the Alabama or Mississippi or Kentucky. They're nice people. I like Indianapolis, relatively nice. It's not a crazy overbearing major metro. Easy to get around. I've spent a little time in it, but I'm not a fan. I like why not Tennessee with the mountains? Why not the Carolinas with the mountains and the warmer weather? Why not Texas with the culture? Why not Florida with a lot of great food, a lot of great weather? Why not Nevada? Why not Colorado? There's a lot of other places I go before I go to Indiana. Mike, $10. May I ask for your help writing a book one day? Please do, and remind me to give me $100 super chat. Because people are like, hey, what's going on? Like, who the hell are you? Because people contact me years later. Oh, you said to contact. Oh, well, tell me that up front. Because I won't remember. Yeah, this one guy named Mike. But yeah, if you do, let me know. I can point you in the right direction. That's it. $100 super chats. All right, we'll see you guys later, Toodles.